In the first half of 2024, Nigeria's federal, state and local governments shared about 13 trillion naira as statutory allocation. This is 139% more money than they shared in 2023. Now, while all this sounds good, the economic reality on the street shows otherwise. More Nigerians are suffocated by harsh living costs and increased poverty today than any time in the last 5 years. In this story, Just Nigeria's Ayuba Iliya speaks to experts to understand why this is so and what Nigerians must do to make government more accountable.
The Federation Accounts Allocation Committee, FAAC, shared a total sum of 1.3 trillion naira.
The increase reflected a positive shift in the nation's revenue streams.
All tiers of government across Nigeria have seen significant increase in revenue since the removal of fuel subsidy.
We have totally revamped and renewed government revenue.
But with the country's economic crisis, some questions are begging for answers.
Where is this money going to, and how is this money being utilized to ensure better service delivery?
In his inaugural speech on May 29th, President Bola Tinubu made his now famous declaration.
Fuel subsidy is gone.
While subsidy removal is perceived by many Nigerians as having inflicted hardship on them, the federal government insists that the economy is back on track.
Nigeria is no longer living on borrowed money, is no longer living on drawing ways and means. When we have international debts, obligations to international companies or banks.
The National Bureau of Statistics says the 3 tiers of government through the Federation Account Allocation Committee (FAAC) have shared 12.45 trillion naira in the first half of 2024, a 139.4% increase when compared with 2023. Under the existing sharing formula, the federal government gets 52.68% of monies from the Federation account, 26.72% goes to states, and 20.60% to local governments. But for many Nigerians, these numbers have had little or no effect on daily living.
We are not better off because the cost of living, the standard of living has fallen.
We've not been able to see the impacts of this allocation on education.
Some people could not even get 1 square meal, particularly if you go to the core north.
Look at now, transportation is very expensive. So we can't help it.
For the masses to have access to subsidy, the petrol subsidy has to be returned.
Well, you get to some filling stations and they're actually selling it for like 1,000 plus, which is not supposed to be. And that automatically increases the cost of living.
What are we saying? End bad government!
During the recent End Bad Governance protest, many Nigerians demanded a reversal of fuel subsidy, but some analysts say state governors should be held to account. Southwestern Nigeria's Oyo State is a top 10 recipient of the monthly allocation. Governor Seyi Makinde has answers for his critics.
As of this particular month, for instance, this is the figure that came out yesterday. Oyo State got 9.3 billion as the state allocation from the federation account. And the salary for the month and the wage award is about 8.6 billion.
Oyo is not the only state trapped in this bubble. Among the 10 lowest revenue recipients is northeastern Nigeria's Gombe State. State Governor and Chairman Northern Governors Forum, Inu Ayahaya, says his state is looking into other sources of revenue.
85% of whatever comes to Gombe in terms of the inflow from Federation account goes in paying salaries of workers. What do you do if you have to do some issues to do with governance, security, providing social services, and many more?
Analysis by budget shows 24 out of 36 Nigerian states will be unable to pay salaries without the monthly allocation in 2024.
FAAC is supposed to cover development projects across jurisdictions, strictly development projects. FAAC should not be where state salaries are paid from. FAAC is not for recurrent expenses. It's for capital expenses that are still supposed to bring in more money.
Some states are still paying 18,000 compared to 30,000 that is obtainable before. So that you are using it to pay, it does not really work well because you have been paying before.
Don't forget the fact that the state has to put in place social measures in order to reduce the impact of the twin policy shocks in the system.
In the wake of the devaluation of the Nigerian naira, there are concerns that this could wind back shoring up revenue for capital projects across states.
In most cases, we have to review the current budgetary provisions for certain infrastructural activities because of cost overrun. So whatever happens at the external sector comes in terms of exchange rate pass-through to the domestic economy.
For the local government councils, increment in FAAC allocation is coming with a Supreme Court judgment affirming local government autonomy. But realizing growth goes beyond that.
We are clamoring as Algon for a change in revenue sharing formula that will enable local government councils across the country to earn more. Presently, councils were just earning barely above 20% compared to other tiers of governments. So you can see, but the burden, the heavy burdens are on local government councils. So we need more resources.
While state governments appeal for more time, analysts say that there are deeper issues of accountability. Hamza Lawal has been on the front line of campaign for transparency in public spending in the last 12 years.
Most governors would not respond to us. Most accountant generals will not give us the figures, or even commissioners for finance. So it's really hard for us to put side by side vis-a-vis how much FAAC allocation is being disbursed to states and what they're actually using it for in terms of tracking both capital expenditure and recurrent expenditure.
The revelation by former state-owned oil company NNPC PLC about 7.8 trillion naira equivalent of $4.9 billion owed by government in subsidy debt is one of the latest controversy over transparency.
We can have people on the payroll of some of these refineries that are supposed to be working, but they're not working, so why are we keeping them? We can think about privatizing our refineries and get investors to take them up.
Experts believe that with better accountability, states can become self-sufficient with internally generated revenue.
Niger State is a beautiful example of how you can start out with the FAAC allocations, grow your capacity from there to be able to generate your revenue internally.
A state like Bayelsa, if they can do more in fishery, a state like Bauchi, core agriculture, if they can do, a state like Niger, anything that has to do with cereal, maybe rice, all those things. So we have to start looking in that direction.
If you say you're cutting cost of governance, tell us how much have you saved? Where did you invest this savings? And how is it trickling down to everyday Nigerian?
As state governments across Nigeria push for more internally generated revenue, experts insist that it must be accompanied by fiscal responsibility and deliberate efforts to explore local solutions for sustainable economic growth. Ayuba, Iliya, Gist, Nigeria.
Well, increased monetary allocation should mean increased service to the people. Is this your reality? Share your story with us on X at Gist Nigeria TV. We would like to hear from you.